So, g'day everybody, how you going? Again, just for full disclosure, it is 10 to 6 on Tuesday night. This is a piece of, in quotation marks, silky oak that I got from Robbo's last year. It's not silky oak, it's camphor laurel. This is Workshop Wednesday. Luckily, I don't do a lot of high-tech editing. It's quite simple. So my plan is to turn this, film it, and get it up ready to go at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I have a touch over 13 hours up my sleeve. So that's not quite leaving it to the last minute. Last minute will be 6 a.m. tomorrow, wouldn't it? So welcome to Workshop Wednesday this week. Let's see whether I can make this week go to plan instead of going oops like last week. Although the oops does seem to attract some viewers. Maybe I'll just put the hashtag oops on everything. Okay guys, thanks for coming along and have a look, and let's see what I can make out of this bit of camphor laurel. It is 120, so touch under 5 inches by 80, which is a bit over 3 inches. Okay, so I've got it mounted up. I do have half a plan. I'm going to make, maybe, depending on what this hole does, a little pedestal bowl. So we'll start off 1/2 inch spindle gouge and start getting some shape into it. Horrible wet winter's day here today, so the smell of camphor is actually quite welcome. I'm pretty sure I bought this back from Robbo's 2 years ago. And it was 2 years ago because last year I went over in the ute. When we loaded it up, Robbo was pretty sure, or he wasn't pretty sure, but he thought it was silky oak. And I've just had it on the shelf here, just marked silky oak. And I thought I'd cut it up, and it's not. Oh, that's quite strong. So my plan here is to make a little foot on the bottom, which I'll turn off afterwards, and just a slight little OG, I suppose you'd call it, and a little bowl on top. So I might actually change the camera view here so you can see the shape I'm going for, put it up above. So there we go, going in, and a little bowl on top. See where that little hole's gone. Oh yeah, that's pretty much gone there. That'll come off with the bottom anyway. That made it move, and it took a little chunk out, so I just went in a bit aggressively there. So I will have to address that. We've got a design opportunity for a smaller foot. Almost. So ready for sanding. Start at 120. I have found not only does camphor laurel smell amazing, sands quite nicely too. I'm keeping this fairly simple with reasonably, I hope, flowing lines, mainly due to time constraints, and I don't want to be mucking around with beads and coves and lines and decorations, because I've left myself short of time. If it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done. That's looking quite nice. $180. And anybody who's expecting me to go Richard Raffin style with a jam chuck to remove the foot won't probably be disappointed. They will be disappointed. I'll be using a small set of coal jaws. 180, 240. Beeswax. I've taken Rich's advice. I've cut my sock in half. I don't know whether it was his advice, but it was in a comment he made on the video where I had the big sock and I got it caught a couple of times quite safely, but it got caught. One of the, Mike I think it was, commented that Richard's socks were much more colourful, which they are, but Richard also commented he only uses half a sock, which made sense, much easier to handle. There we go, that brings the colour out beautifully. So beeswax and boiled linseed oil. So I will switch off while I turn it all around and we'll come back in and do the other side. So we're back, we'll face off the front. Gently, gently, seeing as we're a little way out from the chuck. Speed, I feel. It's better. Felt like a couple of chunks come off there, so we'll have a look. Yeah, it did. Alright, going to be smaller again. So I cut this off the end of a big piece of wood. I'll take a photo and insert it maybe just before or just after this. And I was cutting around the cracks. So there we go, we can go with that. So I'll make the bottom of the bowl about there. Yep. Now for hollowing. It does smell very nice in here. So when I was chatting to Reese last week about some camphor laurel in the previous bowl from the video the week before, he said, did you mention the antibacterial properties of camphor laurel in the oils in the wood? And I didn't, but I am now. Okay, freshly sharpened scraper. Up through the little knob. Quite nice. Sorry about that. Okay, let's move it up there. Nothing like having multiple camera angles during the course of a video. I shouldn't bump you there. Doesn't mean I won't, just means I shouldn't. I'm liking that. So time for sanding. Shall I make you do watch it all again? Yes, I will. 120. So the wood's quite oily, still sanding quite well, but the only other wood that does that to that degree that I've got at the moment is Japanese cedar. Okay, I won't make you watch any more of it. Okay, so sanded to 240, beeswax. Oily sock. Melt it in. So Richard commented on his last video, doesn't worry him which way he puts it on because it's all going to mix in when it goes on together. I don't know, I just put the beeswax on first because I figure that makes sense. Alrighty, so next trick is another change of chuck, turn it round, turn off the foot. So this lovely dainty little set of coal jaws I got as a gift, the cheap chuck I got, which is that chuck. Havco, no it's not a Havco, but it comes under that brand. Quite a good little chuck for the money you would have paid for it. And this little set of coal jaws comes in quite handy, so that's all that chuck does now. Coal jaws, 500-ish revs. Try and keep your pressure in towards the jaws. Making the base concave. Using the bevel to push inwards. Almost Phil Anderson style with that, I suppose. I did one of these more square a while ago on a live with Robbo, and we actually turned a little bowl out of the bottom of it as well. But I don't think I'm going to do that with this one. Righty, sand and put some finish on. Yep. Just the sock should do the job here, I reckon. There we go. There we are, cheap and cheerful little camphor laurel pedestal bowl. Finished up a lot smaller than I'd hoped. We start at nearly 5 inches by 3. We've finished up at 90, so not quite 4 inches by 60, so that's not quite 2.5 inches. So we lost quite a bit with the cracks and the chips, but hopefully I remember to insert the photo. So it's the end off of a larger piece that I thought I'd cut around all of the cracks. Obviously I hadn't, because we still found some in here as I was turning it. But I'm quite happy with that. Another one that didn't quite turn out as planned. Not sure that it deserves a hashtag oops. Thank you for coming along and having a look. I'll be back next week. Actually, give me a second. So a sneak preview for next week. This is a bit of stringy bark burl, which is not as common as red gum burl. I'm going to aim to have this one up as my next workshop Wednesday. I know I've promised another one to someone, but that'll come up maybe the one after, or maybe this will be the one after. But the challenge with this one is going to be mounting it initially. So I've got nothing to work with there. I can use a glue block. I have a couple of ideas and we'll see how they go. My plan is to do very minimal turning on the outside. I'm going to leave most of that there. All I really want to do is turn a foot and leave the rest as is. So we'll see how we go with that one too. So once again, thanks for coming along and having a look. Let me turn my little camphor laurel pedestal bowl thing, and I will see you next week.